But let's do our app review. And let me just, I'll just read this topic out for you. And Simon Goodwin submitted into the Digital Success Elite, actually, Facebook group. Let's just go into my app here and let's just have a look. Hotseat request. Many will have seen me post in Achiever Formula, we certainly have, as well as on Ed's page. Currently, I have a Scrivcast app. Now, a Scrivcast app, for those of you know, is a product that we publish, which is effectively, the best way to describe it is like, obviously now, mobile is where you should be first looking, right? Not desktop. You need to build your audience on mobile because most people have mobile. 94% of people look at Facebook on mobile. Joe and Jane Smith look at for mobile. Get it. Mobile's important. So we said to ourselves, okay, imagine if we were doing blogging, if we wanted to interact with our market on a daily basis, what would we build as an app, as a mobile first approach? And Scrivcast was born. And it's a lovely product if I do say so myself. So Simon has a Scrivcast. And so far I've done little marketing on it. I currently get around 350 page views in the store per month, and we're going to come back to this in a second, from which I get around 60 application page views. I then average around the 40% mark in downloads. I have around 200 installs. Within the app, I have a variety of content. He has some courses that are available for sale and tutorials that require an email subscription. Yet my subscription list has only grown by 2 in 3 months. Help me. Clearly, I'm getting something wrong. I know I need to promote more, but I would have expected a higher sub rate. Well, Simon, as we get into the data, and thank you for providing me so many numbers and things, I think you'll find that you're asking the wrong question because you're actually doing a lot of things right. The thing that made alarm bells go off in my head, though, was your mention of only 350 impressions. Now, you were very generous in sending me your stats, so I'm going to actually bring these up for everybody to have a look at. Here, I popped them in the photos column. Let's put it this way, and then let's bring this up on the screen. And so if you're watching this on video, you'll actually see these stats, but don't worry, I'll read them out to you if you're listening on the podcast. These 3 statistics, but this is a screenshot from the statistics that Apple gives you, and I call them the holy triumvirate of stats. I really have to work on that phrasing. Triumvirate. You know what I mean? The 3 most important stats when it comes to your app. Okay. They are called here impressions, of which in the last month he's had 304, product page views 45, and app units 18. These to me are the most vital stats. Okay. Why am I concerned? Because here 304 impressions over the last 30 days means 10 impressions a day, which is super duper low. Okay, his topic is learn to paint, right? This is a very interesting and worthwhile topic, and his Scrivcast is about learning to paint. Lots of people want to do that. It's a great market, really, really useful. So the very first thing is the impressions number seems super low. Why do I say it's low? Because I know that if piano stool restoration gets around 40 to 50 impressions and 5 to 10 downloads a day, then something is up with the impressions count. And the good news is, let's define what impressions is. Okay, impressions is and let's listen to this very specifically. Apple counts an impression as any time somebody sees the icon of your app in the App Store. Okay, so where can people see your icon? They can see when it's featured, when it hits the front page. How awesome is that, right? That is counted as an impression. Or but most impressions, 65% of impressions are actually from searching in the App Store. So when the first thing that immediately I did, and let's blank shot this so you can concentrate on my screen. Okay, so the first thing I did was I went to the App Store and I hit the search icon And guess what? If it's Learn to Paint, the name of the app is Learn to Paint, then I'm going to type Learn to Paint and hit search. And as you'll see, the number one there is how to paint, learn how to paint easily. Lim Ching Kong. It's a 99-cent app. And it's got a how to paint, and it's got how to paint, and it's different types of paintings there on the screenshots. Then we've got a how to draw, step-by-step drawing lessons and colouring pages. Notice most of these have subheads, right? Learn how to paint easily. So it's not only how to paint, but it's also there's a subhead, learn how to paint easily. Why are they there? Well, for one of the reasons is that when it comes to your App Store search results, having a subhead, so how to paint is the title of the app, learn how to paint easily is the subhead. Now, I actually like the second one. I think it's even better. How to draw dash, that's the title. Then the subhead is step-by-step drawing lessons and colouring pages. Now, that's the actual name in Apple terms from a metadata perspective. That's the name of the entire app. But instantly, when I'm searching, that gives me something more to look at. Okay, because it's telling me, oh, okay, cool, step-by-step drawing lessons and colouring pages. I want to learn how to draw, and I want to learn step-by-step. And it's, the screenshots here I'm not too excited about, but even the first one, more than 200 instructions, even though I have a problem with the way that's written. But hey, wow, cool, 200 lessons, even if the English is not quite right. The third one is, I think I like it even better. Let's learn how to draw. And what do you want to draw? And it's got the screenshot, dogs, trains, monsters, and then let's how to learn to draw. It's good looking, it looks professional, it works great. Now, unfortunately, none of these have been Simon's. And indeed, the first Leisure Painter magazine is the first magazine. That's 4 or 5 down. Now, we don't have long enough in this podcast. I spent, and I'm not kidding, Simon, I spent 10 minutes scrolling like I am now through the App Store trying to find your app. It's nowhere near the top. This is good news because it tells me that there's something fundamentally wrong. So, to find Simon's app in the end, I had to go to Learn to Paint, and then I had to put Simon's name because I knew he was the developer. And there we are. Finally, we've got Simon's thing. And the only reason I would have found that is if I'd actually I knew the name of the developer. All right? There's no way I would have found that without the exact link or the thing. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the issues with this app, because let's go back to photos again. Look at how, when people finally go to his product, so the definition of product page views, which is the second most important metric, product page views is when somebody has seen your App Store description. So it's your sales page. So, for example, what I'm seeing on screen is the search result. That's counted as an impression from an Apple perspective. If I tap on this, it actually takes me to Simon's page, whereas there's the description, all the screenshots, the reviews, etc. While we're here, I'll note there is absolutely 0 reviews. Now, I'm looking in the United States App Store, but there is 0 reviews. Surely you can find somebody to give you some reviews, Simon, because even 1 or 2 reviews would help, okay? That's a real problem. Even in all versions, there's no reviews. So, and that is a factor in getting your page to show up in the search results. But there's a more fundamental problem. However, again, let's go back. Of 45 people who have seen his page, guess what? 18 people downloaded. That is right in the pocket. That's where we want to see this thing. So if we can get more people to have a look at his product page, he's going to get more downloads. And with more downloads, we'll solve the email collection problem. Okay, because that's not his problem. His problem is actually just not enough views at the top end of the funnel. Like I don't know what that is exactly. It must be close to 45. Yeah, it's about our 40% sweet spot. It's almost spot on. So guess what that says to me? That says to me, and I'm not surprised, if people see his page, because his first screenshot says learn to paint. Free tutorials, weekly articles, offers, and interviews. It's easy. It's simple. I would say to him that his second screenshot is a bit wasted, because it doesn't sell. It's a literal screenshot. It looks pretty, but it doesn't sell. I'd put some sort of banner with a benefit to just help juice that. But let's face it, 40% of people, once they've seen the description page, are actually downloading this app. That's good. His problem is there's not enough people, and it's because his Apple metadata is shot. And we know this because the stats tell us everything, because we've seen those impressions. All right, so that's what Simon has done. Now, there's one thing on the... Let's go here. Let's go there. Okay, let's come back to me for a second. Okay, so Simon. All right. The problem is in the metadata. What is the metadata? So Apple calls metadata a number of things. First of all, it's the title. Okay, the title of your app is crucial in terms of people discovering. People refer to this as App Store SEO, App Store search engine optimization. Call it what you will. But that's where your problem is. You're just not getting enough app views. It's serious. It's just, you're not getting enough impressions. Those impressions are so low. To give you some context, Digital Publisher, which is my poor red-headed stepchild, right? We do nothing. We use it for testing only. Has over 55,000 impressions a month. Okay, 55,000 impressions a month. All right, just to put some context around it. And that's in the people who want to do internet marketing, if you look at learn to do internet marketing versus learn to paint, there are literally order of magnitude more people who are interested in learning to paint than internet marketing. So I just want you to get through your head why that is such a vital thing, and it's the metadata. So our title is important. So again, notice those number 1 and 2. So if we go to learn to paint, our number 1 keyword, right? Our learn to paint, learn how to paint easily. Okay, that is our number 1 thing. Okay, and by the way, the only reviews he has there are terrible reviews. Review number 2, 1 star, want my money back, need help. I like the app, but the ads are preventing me from clicking on the more option. This is a horrible app. It's an embarrassment. You make these metadata changes, Simon, and you're going to explode your impressions count, because that's what the problem is here. Okay, that is the problem. So for a start, you need a subhead. Learn to paint for who, for what, for how, for why. The purpose of adding a subhead to any app, and every app should have them, is to help filter out, right there at the top, filter people. Also, every word that you use in your subhead is a keyword that is used by Apple to rank your app. And as you see, and because your problem, I know what exactly your problem is, and I'm building up to it, this is a key. Just remember that. The second thing that is important with our metadata, so iTunes, is the title, subtitle. The description in your app is also important. Now, your description needs work, okay? A lot of your description, if we go, where do we learn to paint? I have to put Simon in here so I can find the description. Okay, so the description here, it actually starts off pretty well. It's, learn to paint is an app designed to help you to learn to paint. Bit reductive, but we hope to inspire, tutor, and aid you during your journey as an artist. Completely cool. This app has a number of free areas, including daily articles, questions, and answers, as well as over 1 hour's phrasing. Now, here's the thing. I'm picking up, and trust me, I feel like a heel pointing these things out, because I am the worst grammar, punctuation, writing person of all time. I failed high school English, okay? So I feel desperately embarrassed in pointing this stuff out. But why do I point it out? Is because these are subconscious triggers that stop people downloading. As soon as they see poor English, or they see a plural where it should be singular, that's about as much as I know when it comes to punctuation, it's a trigger. It's an instant trigger for people to stop downloading. And as Apple gets smart with neural networks, and they can pick this stuff up, right? This is grammar check stuff, right? So that's a problem. Now, where it becomes a real problem, though, is we also have a paid area, and you spend the rest, an entire paragraph here on talking about payment. Let people get into your app first, okay? Draw them into the app. Smother them with awesome stuff, and then let's get their emails. Let's get their paid stuff. Already you're flagging to people, I want to sell you stuff, right? And you haven't given your app a chance to shine because, and this is the good news, your app looks awesome, right? It's a really, really good looking app. Like, it's compared to the crap that is actually, in this Learn to Paint section. Oh my goodness, your stuff is so much better, Simon. And so it's a tragedy that people aren't seeing it. Okay, reviews. I've already mentioned there are no reviews. For goodness sake, get some reviews. Don't pay for them. Paid review, because it's obvious and Apple will kill you. And if you lose your Apple developer account, you're in all sorts of trouble. But for goodness sake, friends, family, people, help, right? Get some reviews for your app, because that will help immensely, and it'll shoot you up the rankings. Because at the moment, you're not even within, I couldn't find you. You're hundreds of layers down in the Learn to Paint keyword. But the main reason, and this is what I've been building up to, you've got to have the theatre, is your iTunes Connect keywords. Having the privilege of seeing a couple of thousand publishers of Magcasts and hundreds of Scrivcasters, whenever I hear a low impression count, I know the iTunes Connect keywords are stuffed. And fortunately, Simon, you sent me yours, which is awesome because I can help you with them, right? Because here's the thing, and you make the, and I'll just, hang on, I'll just be careful here. Okay, so your keywords are learn, painting, oil, paint, drawing, art, techniques, videos, tutorial. Okay. The first and most significant big problem here is that iTunes Connect keywords, if they appear in the title or subtitle of your app, you don't need to put them in your iTunes Connect. You're sucking up valuable keywords. Okay, so learn is in, paint is in your title. I don't know what the word is. It suffixes? I hope it's suffixes. The ings, the s's, the plurals, the variations of words, he, she, pronouns. Apple ignores all of those. So having painting and paint as keywords, it's a waste of time, because it'll be picked up, and you've got learn to paint. So all of a sudden you've got because here's the thing with iTunes Connect keywords. You have 100 characters, because Apple aren't in the search biz. They don't know phrases. They don't know any of this stuff, right? You have 100 characters, okay, which in the English character set, basically each letter equals one character, 1 byte. 100 bytes of information is actually specifically, how user-friendly is that? Not. Whereas, for example, Mandarin, simplified Chinese, some characters actually require 2 bytes, so you use less. Anyway, small bit of trivia there. So, already you are repeating learn, painting, and paint. Don't need to be there. If you actually included your subhead, learn to paint, cool techniques and video tutorials to learn how to paint. You don't even need to do that last bit, just the cool tutorial. You wouldn't even need to use those. So you can then think way more about what keywords that you're using. Again, you've got oil here, you've got painting. What are the other keywords? Techniques, pains, all those sorts of things. Basically, you can, because you've repeated all these keywords, you're missing all the value of search. You fix this part up, which you can only do, by the way, with an app update. Fortunately for you, Scrivencast has an automatic app update feature so that you can change these. And that's going to fix your problems. You need a new subtitle to your name. You need to get some reviews, and you need to get some good keywords in there. What are some of the techniques, the brushes? What are people searching for in learning to paint? This is where some keyword research is useful, just to get some feel for the types of, what the pains are, what people are doing. Then, with your description, for goodness, address the pains in your market. Here's what also, like for paint, I'll tell you right now, because I started, I don't know if many of you know this, but at the start of the year, I did a 30-day challenge of learning to draw, because it's something that I always wanted to do, and I thought it was, just beyond my capacity to do. I thought I wasn't challenged, and I thought, that's crazy. Let's see. And so I did it for 30 days in January. And it was fascinating to me to learn all these things. But what are all the fears in my head getting into that? I can't do it. I've got no talent. You have to have some sort of God-given gift. With oil painting and painting, it's the mess, all the construction and setup, the mixing of paints, the easels, the equipment, the gear that you need. These are all the pains. These are all the questions that are going on in my head of why I haven't taken it. I love the idea of doing it, but I don't know how to do all these things. So your description should be full of, this app will do this. It will solve this problem. It will solve this problem. It will help you with this. It will help you with this. It will help you with this. That's why pains are so important, because it gives you all of that information. Now, the final part of this, let's go to the app. I want to put you, because there's stuff that you should be absolutely congratulated on. Okay, the app itself is fantastic, right? It looks wonderful. Okay, it's professional. If it's a painting program, it should look good, right? So it should. And it does. It looks really good. Start painting with this simple 5-minute video. Now, I just want to give you some feedback on this. Struggle to paint any picture. Most people struggle with painting because they feel they can't draw. Watch our videos to show a really simple method to draw any subject. Awesome. Now, the title here on this page is video, okay, which is a issue. Now, by the way, I had to opt in. This was an email opt-in, which I was happy to do. That's great. Just a little bit of feedback on the video. You spent the first 5 minutes of the video was why, which was great, why I should be watching this. But then you go into the video and you have a computer program and you're showing a computer. I'm here to paint with an easel and oils. You didn't say why you were using the computer program. And that was a real problem, because I don't think I would have lasted long enough in terms of the video construction. Now, the technique that you were showing was really good. All you needed to do at the start of the video was say, why am I using this program why am I on the computer if I'm going to show you how to do oil painting and make it really easy for you? Well, did you know artists cheat? Because this is how they prepare to do a portrait. And it's it was really great information, but it's not there. Now, you can see here, you've got some downloadable courses, so people can tap to purchase, which is awesome. All of that's really good. Touch my ID and I've just spent $79. How awesome is that, though? One thing I would suggest, $79 is a lot for people. Why not give them a taste? Why not go for smaller amounts? You've got your daily articles here, which is really, really good. And for people who are watching on the live stream, it looks awesome, right? Everything, it's really good. You've got questions and answers. You've got some really good areas of this app, okay, which is really great. It's just the, all the content is great. To me, it's just a tragedy that people aren't finding out about this. Because if you get the downloads right, you get the impressions right, everything else is going to start building. So to get your, let's come back to me here. So to get your, let's turn off the phone. There we are. Simon, to get your impressions up, everything's going to flow through, because your ratio of page views to downloads is actually pretty darn good. So you've got to, the market's there. So we need to widen the funnel immensely, fix your keywords, and that will solve because your keywords are pretty much useless right now because they're repeating everything that's in the title. Add that, learn to paint, the program for blah, blah, and blah, right? So all of those count as keywords, and then you'll be on your way with impressions, right? You'll just see, you get a couple of reviews in the store, you will rocket up those charts. That's why reviews are so important. And more importantly, give people reasons to opt in. Make sure the very first thing that I went to that app, the app with, once I downloaded it, was an email. I don't even know you. Give people some truly free content. Get them hooked. Use push notifications, which you have in Scriptcast. In Scriptcast, you've got this awesome feature where you can send a push notification to send people to a specific article based on the fact whether they've looked at it or not looked at it. How cool is that? Right? So you can use deep linking to drive usage. Give people stuff genuinely for free. Don't just... If you've got them to download the app, you're halfway home. We can send them push notification methods. We can build up the usage of the app so that when you do offer stuff for download for email, utilize that. You can also utilize pages where you've got opt-in pages. So there's a free course. So you might want to try an opt-in page as part of that. And you can create a special opt-in page and you can deep link via push notification or email directly into that page in the app, which is so awesome. So you can build in your list that way. But the good news is the part that most people struggle with, you're right there in the... I think you could probably increase it with a little change in screenshot and getting your description better, but you're already at 40%, which is great. The impressions are so low for a market which is so big. So we get that impression solved. That'll have a lot more people flowing into the app. Then we can use push notifications. Then we can use great content. Don't make every single thing that they press on a booby trap bomb explode in their face to get their email. Let's slow roll this. You don't need to do that. Also consider some really cheap options, like some click, $79 in-app purchase. Somebody has to really think about that. Not to say that people don't. There are many examples. Gypsy Jazz Secrets is one that I love. They sell $49 courses till the cows come home for their market, but they also have lots of totally free tutorials so people can see the quality of their content and what they're doing. So there you have it. That is my... Leah's leaving a review for you now. Thank you, Leah. And it's really good. I'm going to do it too because the app itself is really good. Follow-up question 2. Linda says, if we want to add a subhead to our app title, do we need to resubmit the app to Apple for approval? Yes, you do. But the good news is because your app's already in the App Store, your app will continue to go on while it's in review, and then they'll just switch it over after they've done the review. So it's not a big deal. And indeed, in the old days, it used to be terrible, but most app reviews are happening in sort of 24, 48 hours. It's fantastic. So it works really good. Lee is saying his in-app purchase funnel looks like it should work great. It is good and it's great. You just need to do a little bit we're just trying to seal the deal too quickly. We want to build our tribe, and you've got them to download. So let's use push notifications. Let's give them cool content. You've got daily content. Let's see what people use push notification to encourage usage of the app, and then send them to an opt-in page for your email, and you'll be fine, right? You've got all the blocks in place. You just need to sort them through. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that. This is the reason that I'm talking about apps a lot at the moment is because apps are the future, right? And you'll read a lot of people saying, "Oh, apps are dead. Oh, apps are useless." People only look at 4 or 5 apps on their phone, and they're right in the sense that the vast majority of apps that people use on their home screen are the standards, the Facebooks, the Snapchats, the Twitter clients, or whatever it happens to be. But if you're an enthusiast in a market, most people think to make money, you need to have millions of downloads because that's the traditional VC-backed business model. For us, as info publishers who are serving our markets, there's never been a better time. Never been a better time. Because if we can get 1,000 people to download our app, then we can start testing things by sending push notifications. I mentioned last week Angelo Ioannidis with the Extraordinary Vision app, who did an entire crowdfunding campaign just using push notifications to get people to fund the creation of his app for the next year. How good is that? Right? People are so underutilizing push notifications. The fact is, most people's app usage is driven by push notifications, and you're not annoying people. If I'm interested in learning how to draw and you've just put up a new tutorial, or paint in your case, on how to do a really simple landscape, I would be really interested to have a look at that, and I will want to have a look at it. And I'll be thrilled to get that push notification. The dud push notifications, though, and when people say, "Hey, check out my app," oh, let's see and have a look at the latest stuff. Lazy, 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 right? You're not giving people a reason or a benefit for using or clicking on that push notification. They are incredibly powerful, but people aren't utilizing them yet. So that's why apps are important. The other big thing, and why we need to focus on that holy trinity of impressions, product page views, and app units, is because pay per tap is coming. Pay per tap is coming. 1 cent clicks are coming. I bet you, Simon, Learn to Paint 1 cent click, so you can be that top result for Learn to Paint, is going to be a 1 cent click when it starts out. Because there's no huge Supercell, Clash of Clans, Clash Royale that wants that keyword. Right? You're going to go in there and you're going to smash it. You're going to get more impressions than you know what to do with. And the good news is, we know if you get impressions, you're going to get downloads. Right? Because you've got that part sorted out. 1 cent clicks. How many fortunes were created back in 2004 when pay per click, Google's only pay me if somebody clicks to your page, were made? How many fortunes were made? We're about to see that for the first time ever in history in 6 to 8 weeks' time. That's why it's so important.